本节目由沃尔沃 EM90 北欧超豪华纯电 MPV 冠名播出。华为 MateBook X Pro 980克超轻 Ultra 9超强。
What do you do? And then all these political leaders, they all get together and they make their little plans, and it's like I'm reminded in Shakespeare's, we petty men creep under their huge legs and peep about to find ourselves dishonorable graves.
If you meet the young Jane, what would you talk to her?
I would say, just give me a few weeks back in your shoes and let me be back in comedy. You take my place and go and give lectures. Thank you. Love you too. And carry on saving the world, okay?
See you next 5 years. Doctor, I'd like to thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wherever I go, people come up, they cry, they say, I love you. And of course, it's not real love. I think it's more like respect. But they trust me. So how many minutes to the next place?
20.
Day by day. Crazy.
But do you keep so busy schedule?
Because I'm getting older, there's less time and so much to do.
So you never want to stop?
I'd like to stop, but I can't. I think I was born for a reason, with a mission. I was given certain gifts, which I have to share.
Say something, you're a cover girl of National Geographic.
Yes, and I'm there because of my legs. It's what they were all saying. If I'm getting money from the Geographic to go on the cover because of my legs, thank you, legs. And they were good legs. Okay, can you all hear me? Yes? Right. Let me start off by bringing another voice into this room. I want to speak for the animals. So... Greeting call of the chimpanzee. This is me. This is Jane.
你总需要创造自己的时间，独自观察山茶花的绽放，在古老的剧场追问公理与正义的问题，于时代喧嚣的缝隙重又捕捉内心的敏感。你追寻往昔，却看到了未来。沉静之下，激情场意外涌动。在通往世界的途中，自我反而日渐清晰。人生恰如一段丰富的旅程，过万境，见心境。
There's the war. It took place over about 6 months, gradually, when they killed them one by one by one. It was never like two armed forces meeting. It was a group of males going after one. Not just the males, the females too, the old females. They killed them. Very brutal, almost the worst war. These were chimpanzees who knew each other. So it was just like a civil war. You know, where families get divided. If you see the ferocity, it's like something, there's no way you could get in between.
It's a long time torture.
That was awful. Long time hunting them down. Genocide in Rwanda. It's a bit like Gaza. That's trying to systematically wipe them out, which they did.
So how the experience shaped your view or attitudes?
And there's nice chimps and nasty chimps, both male and female. I mean, fashion was horrible, killing babies, and little Gilka was just a dear little sweet person whose babies were killed. Well, it just made me realize, as I say, they're more like us than we thought.
Yeah, so great. We'll arrange a car.
Yeah, the plan from this should be at all times with her.
So, okay. He is our driver for 5 days. Yeah.
Hello. You're going to drive us around.
So, through the museum, okay.
So let's go.
Yeah.
It was pretty dry and
Yeah, it just got dry yesterday. So now I need to know who I'm talking to, what I'm talking about, and how long.
After we arrive at the museum, we will have a conversation with the director. It will take about 30 minutes. And after so it's an insurance company, and their director will hope to have some conversation with you. Then you can go to the theater, and we have our ceremony. During the movie time, you can go to the private room and prepare your lecture, prepare your speech.
Yeah.
It's the director of the museum.
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you here. Please. It's a long journey. So tired.
Hello.
来，辛苦各位，全场准备，3、2、1，开始。
Hello. I'm very happy the program Roots and Shoots is growing. Maybe some of you belong to it, and it helps you understand animals and the environment. So please do that. Thank you. Let's see how many bits are attached to me. Ooh! Oh dear.
I will be with you in 4 days.
You will?
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
Okay.
lots of old friends here.
Hello. Look at their butterflies. Those are beautiful.
每一年级下册的课本，第一页就是关于她的实现愿望的一个小女孩，开心开心。
Yeah.
They were working on the ancient canal,
Yes.
the protection.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you.
下一个环节了，就不要去高的
好，来。
对，内场已经在等了哈，各位，咱们抓紧点时间。
I know we haven't done a photo yet.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, but we're running out of time.
Very quickly do a photo.
Yes.
We can't just ignore them.
I'm so sorry.
That's very no. Oh come on, we can't ignore. We can't leave them out. It's not fair. 10 minutes late is nothing. These young people abandoned would be awful. You know, they'd never forget it. Quick. Well, for the last few months, no more than 4 hours. 2 nights ago, I didn't sleep 1 hour. Come on, we're late, so we run.
有请最主要的是
So this is a private room for me to think, is it?
Yeah.
Doing another television now, are we?
No television now.
各位，如果你们还在这个，他就不会坐下。
Goodbye.
See you.
Okay, that's done. I just want to do one thing. I want to put an eye drop in. Then I'm ready to go.
You are as strong as 5 years ago.
Yes.
You're working so fast.
I could run if you like. Go ahead of them.
Okay.
And then my reason for hope is what I call the indomitable human spirit. And that's why I carry Mr. H around with me. Mr. H was given to me by a man called Gary Horn. Gary Horn went blind when he was 21 in the US Marines. He decided to become a magician. And everybody said, Gary, how can you be a magician if you can't see? If he was standing here, I promise you, hardly any of you would realize he was blind. He sets out his props beforehand. But he does his shows for children. And at the end of the show, he tells them he's blind. He's never seen Mr. H, only felt him. He gave him to me for my birthday 33 years ago. He thought he was giving me a stuffed chimpanzee, and I took his hand, and I made him hold the tail. I said, Gary, chimpanzees don't have tails. He said, never mind, take him where you go, and you know my spirit's with you. So that's my message for all of you, and thank you very much.
接下来我们进入到今天全场的最后一个环节——大合影。
Okay, everybody, what we're going to do, and listen carefully, we're going to say, together we can, together we will. Wait. Wait. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Together we can, together we will, together we must save the world. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Did you do that? Brilliant. Well done.
现在不能签了啊！各位，老人家从早晨到现在没有吃饭呢，你们体谅一点，体谅一点。不能签，我都签走了，我们起下作用。
哇，他精力太好了，他的杯子里是 whisky 吧？
Wait, no, I'm stopping one. I'm trying to get.
太厉害了，震撼。我是想去，但是我就不知道这想太打扰了吧？我觉得。算了吧，不打扰，真的不打扰了，算了，我就觉得不打扰了，我就觉得真的太累了。
It's great to see you. 30 years, amazing. 不可以了。
Hi, Jen.
Good morning.
Nice to meet you. So, what time you get up?
This morning?
Yeah.
7.
Wow. Yes, please. You must be very tired. I mean, a long day.
Yeah, it was a very long day. Starting at 5 o'clock in Hong Kong.
Wow.
Yeah. That's when I left.
Crazy life.
Yeah. Crazy.
So you never want to stop?
Well, I'd like to stop, but I can't. The world is in such a mess.
Yeah.
And people are losing hope. And they say I give them hope to carry on. So how can I stop?
Yes, it also means very big burden, I guess. I mean,
well, it
so
is,
many
really.
people's hope up to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. When it first happened, I hated it. I wore dark glasses, had my hair down. People still recognized me. And then I realized, well, okay, people recognize me, then I'll make use of that and spread the message.
So when you travel around the world, when you feel tired, feel kind of powerless, what kind of things do to relax?
Sit in the evening, drink whiskey with a friend.
It's your medical cure.
That's exactly right.
Later. Small gift for you.
I don't know where Toby is with my shawl. He must be out there somewhere. Then I could put my shawl on, which looks nicer than this. Okay.
Yeah, the scarf is very beautiful.
It's a bit nicer than a black Patagonia. See, he has to double as hair, makeup, wardrobe.
Yeah, because in 1970s, you most focused on about Gombe, about your chimpanzee study. Then suddenly you jump out to carry the bigger world.
That was in 1986.
Yeah. So what happened?
What happened was that the big book that I wrote, Chimpanzees of Gombe, which took about 2 years to write, and it was all the first 20 years research. And then one of my friends in America, who was head of the Chicago Academy of Science, he said, we should celebrate this with a conference. So he wanted a conference about the great apes, and including paleontology. I went to the conference. So I went as a scientist, really thinking I'd probably spend the rest of my life at Gombe, and left as an activist, just like that. And at that conference, we had a session on conservation, and it was shocking seeing, everywhere where people were studying chimps, the numbers were going down, and the forests were being destroyed. But I didn't quite know what to do. So got some money, visited the chimp sites, realized what was happening, why they were decreasing in number, but learned about the problems faced by the African people. Learned why. People say, was it a tough decision? It wasn't a decision, it's something that happened.
So during the transition, what's the biggest obstacle you have to overcome?
Well, for me, the most important was alleviating poverty, so that the people found ways of making a living without destroying their environment. And they realized then that saving the environment wasn't just for wildlife, but for their own future. Reaching the tipping point in 5 years. That doesn't mean it's all over in 5 years. It means it will be very, very hard to slow down climate change if we don't take action now. I'm getting older, there's less time and so much to do.
The sense of urgency. When it started, the sense of urgency become more pressing.
Oh, I think it's come gradually, don't you? Gradually over the last 10 years, maybe 20. The species disappearing, the climate heating up, the frequency of hurricanes and storms and floods and droughts. The conflict around the world, the civil unrest. I mean, all of it is. And people losing hope.
When did you first realize that hope is so important? It's so, yeah.
Way back in late 1980s, when I was meeting young people who said they were depressed or they were angry. And that's because they said we compromised their future and there was nothing they could do about it. So yes, we've compromised their future. But I reckon there was something they could do. And then it all became very clear that if you lose hope, you become apathetic, you give up, you do nothing. And then we're doomed.
So for you, for the past 5 decades, the world become better or worse?
Worse. On the other hand, awareness has grown up, particularly among young people. They're much more aware of the need to. But unfortunately, in some of the very elite communities, like I won't mention places, but children growing up with very rich parents who just swan around private jets and everything. Those children, they don't know. They don't realize the harm that lifestyle is doing to the planet. So getting to them is important. Equally, it's important to get to the very poor, to, somehow give them some hope.
So when deal with the politician or business leader, what do you get from them? How do they think about the world?
Well, the business leaders, I talk to them quite often. And some of them, without question, are really, really trying to become more sustainable. And my favorite story is a CEO of a big international company. And he said, Jane, I really have been trying for the last 8 years to get my company sustainable in the countries where we get our products, in the supply chain as much as possible. That's difficult. In our offices around the world, and in the way we treat our customers. And he said there were 3 reasons. 1, seeing the writing on the wall. We're using up natural resources in some places faster than nature can replenish them. 2, consumer pressure. People are beginning to ask questions. How was this made? Did it harm the environment? Was it cruel to animals, like factory farming? Is it cheap because of unfair wages? But he said, what tipped the balance for me was my little girl, 10 years old, and she got back from school. She said, Daddy, they're telling me what you're doing is hurting the planet. That's not true, is it, Daddy? Because it's my planet. That
wow,
did it.
Very touching.
You see, that's how you have to go. You have to reach the heart. It's no good trying to argue and fight because they're not going to listen, these people. But if you can sneak into the heart. But how do we persuade governments? How do we persuade business? They don't seem to care. Oh, I'll be all right. I'll be dead before it gets too bad. But don't you care about your children? I hadn't thought about that. Well, it may never happen. I mean, I heard with my own ears, President-elect Donald Trump said, climate change is the biggest hoax in human history. He said that.
Yeah.
And he's going to be president. And his chief advisor will be Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the only person who's attacked me on social media because when I'm talking about the problems we face, I always say to have unlimited economic development on a planet with finite natural resources and a growing human population doesn't make sense. We've got 8 billion of us roughly on the world today. 2050 it'll be about 10 billion. What's going to happen? I've never said more than that. And Elon Musk accused me of wishing for human genocide on social media. He's going to be the main advisor to Donald Trump. I mean, what do you do? And then all these political leaders, they all get together and they make their little plans, and it's like I'm reminded in Shakespeare's, we petty men creep under their huge legs and peep about to find ourselves dishonorable graves. And so I just thought, that's exactly what it's like.
So many people feel so powerless.
Yes. Makes the job of somebody like me very difficult. And still, I must give hope, because if people lose hope now, then of course we can't do anything about it.
But in 1930s, 40s, it's more harsher than now, I guess. The World War II.
What was I, 10, 11, 12, the end of the war. And the images of the Holocaust came out, the torture. And that made a deep, deep impression. I learned about human evil for the first time. And I began writing poems about it. And I began lying, thinking, how would I withstand torture? If I was being tortured to tell about something, would I be able to withstand it or not? So it was a grim time.
So for today's world, what's the biggest threat of evil in today's world?
Well, probably what really upsets me in Palestine, in Gaza. I think that's just, I mean, so many children killed, thousands of them, bombed, destroyed. That has to be evil, doesn't it?
So what's the best solution or attitude towards evil?
Conquering it somehow. Go back to the Lord of the Rings. Sauron, the Dark Lord, and the orcs. It's really, it's almost like a whole scene of today. So we need, so we actually talk about this, you know, when I'm talking about particularly the environmental problems of the world. And, you know, there are people with the Jane Goodall Institute, with Roots and Shoots. And so I say, you know, we've got to grow the fellowship. You know, Lord of the Rings is Fellowship of the Ring. Well, we haven't got a ring, but we need to grow the fellowship to fight the Dark Lords. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I say to people sometimes when they say, well, I don't have hope, but I'll go on fighting anyway, because, as I've always said, supposing there isn't any hope, which I really don't believe. I believe there is hope, because I think we're beginning to wake up. But suppose there wasn't. Isn't it better to die fighting for what you believe in than just to give up and let your last days fade away and eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die?
Because you said you like the Lord of the Rings very much. So if you were in book, what kind of role you would play? Frodo or Sam or Gandalf? Which one you want to play?
I didn't ever want to play any here. I just admired them or hated them, depending.
It's also about how people live in the dark times. So what do you get from the book? I mean, about courage, about maybe dilemma,
persistence, hope. I mean, Frodo and Sam attempted the impossible, and that's one of my reasons for hope. The people who attempt the impossible and are told that they're stupid, but they succeed.
Our literature experience shape your scientific discovery.
I don't know that it did. I mean, even as a little girl, I was out in nature watching birds and insects and squirrels and, you know, loving to be out looking at the colors of the autumn tree and the little buds coming out in spring. And that tied in with poetry very much.
Who is your favorite poet?
Probably Keats.
Keats.
Yeah.
Lots about nature, about the birds. Yeah.
I used to read Shakespeare all the time, and then poetry. I read a lot of poetry, and I loved it.
How does this kind of experience change your maybe scientific training?
Because I haven't had scientific training. I'm much more romantic than a scientist.
Yeah, actually, you're a romance-driven person, actually.
You know, scientific method, the way I use it's fine, but scientific method, being objective and cold, that's led to a lot of cruelty. You know, your animals are just subjects. I was told we were not part of the animal kingdom, we're separate. That's rubbish. When I was 10 years old, I'd loved animals all my life. And I read a book that made me dream of going to Africa, living with wild animals and writing books about them. And as I say, everybody laughed at me because I was just a girl. But here was the importance of my mother. She said to me, if you really want to do something like this, you're going to have to work really, really hard, take advantage of every opportunity. It wasn't easy. As I say, we didn't have much money. I was very good at school, but we didn't have money for university. I got a boring secretarial job in London, but I couldn't save money up in London. And so I went home. We lived on the south coast. And I got a job as a waitress, jolly hard work. But it took 5 or 6 months until I'd saved up enough money for a fare to Africa. Anyway, to cut the long story short, I got to Africa. I met the famous paleontologist, Dr. Louis Leakey, and he offered me the opportunity to go and live with and learn from chimpanzees. Well, for the first 4 months, the chimpanzees ran away from me. So I think this is maybe one of the earliest times when hope was so important. And hope was realized by working very hard, getting up every day at 6 a.m., staying out in the fields, out in the forest, every day until darkness fell. And it was in this way that I gained the trust of the chimpanzees. And the most exciting thing that I then found out, how like us they are. They kiss, they embrace, they hold hands, they pat one another in reassurance. Males competing for dominance stand upright and swagger with furious scowls, shake their fist. Does that remind you of some human male politicians? I was nervous. I mean, I'd never been to college. And I was told I'd done everything wrong. Jane, you shouldn't have given the chimps names. They should have had numbers. You cannot talk about them having personality, mind, emotion. Those are unique to us. I'd had a wonderful teacher as a child who had taught me that these wise professors were talking rubbish. That wise teacher was my dog, Rusty. You can't share your life with any kind of animal and not know we are not the only beings on the planet with personalities, minds, and emotions.
来这边走，这边走。
真古道尔他关注的已经不是简单的科学、人类学，或者是心理学，或者是动物学了。他关心的是真正的人学，是考虑人、地球、生命到底是怎么回事。所以他一开始你看他的这些研究方法，他的一些方式呢，很多是这种描述性的。他甚至给那个动物要起名字，所以那个当时就很多教授就提出的最大质疑是，你不能富有你自己的感情，你去给动物起名字，你去说他们有感情。在他们很多当时的这些科学家来讲，实际上是认为动物就是低人一等的东西嘛，是吧？这种描述性的东西的话呢，往往就不容易被科学界所接受。他认为你没法去论证它，你只是说你感觉他有感情，你何以证明他有感情？所以真的反驳是，你何以证明他没感情，对吧？因为我们人是有感情的，你为什么说他们就没有感情？我们也是生命，他们也是生命，所以这就是我们去理解的真所做的这些工作啊，学术的研究啊等等，他的方法是另一个世界的方法，他是特别的那种非暴力的，不抵抗的。但是我永远是一个观察者，我永远是想去作为我的一些行动去试图去改变。他不断的强调我们应该去改变。
其实他身上的文学性挺强的。
对，在我看来，科学发展到一定阶段，它也像中世纪那个黑暗的那个宗教时期，在我看来也是这样的。好像科学就是真理。然后呢，真古道尔的话呢，他实际上是在努力改变一些科学禁锢你的东西，因为真正认定动物是有思想、有意识、有复杂行为的。Jane 的年代其实是已经极其先锋的，甚至可以说在那时候大部分是反对的。他就像当年达尔文拿着他的论文去在皇家学会去宣读的时候，也是被人唾骂的。那个状态你可以想象，你像那个 Richard Carson 写那个《寂静的春天》的都多晚了，那时候
72年嘛，
西方才开始有环保的意识。那过去的话呢 ，DDT 666那些还专门拿诺贝尔奖呢。人们觉得这发明一种那个农药杀虫剂，杀死那么多所谓的害虫，这是一个多好的事情。所以这个观念转变也就是这几十年。所以正在他的那个年代，他大胆地提出动物是有共情的，是有感情的，是有交流的，甚至有思想的，那个是很前卫、很超前的。所以在他那个年代一直是被反对的，到今天甚至科学的主流都不会接纳他。
所以某种上这还是就他们的就是异端，
我觉得是这样。
In 1970s, you try to give the human side of chimpanzee, and it's still kind of controversial feedback from the academic.
Well, yeah, same as people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, I wasn't surprised, but I knew that it was going to cause a great, surprise to the scientific community. Because we were defined as man, the tool maker. Only humans could use and make tools. That was the big dividing. One scientist even said I must have taught them, which would have been brilliant since they were still running away from me. How I was supposed to teach them, I don't know.
So David changed everything. David Graybeard.
He changed everything. David Graybeard using tools, which brought in the National Geographic, and money came in.
In 60s, 70s, because maybe academics say something, you are cover girl of National Geographic.
Yes.
You are so angry at time. No.
Today you'd sue them, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But back then it was different. And, the whole feminist movement hadn't started. And all I wanted to do was be out there with the chimps. So I said, well, if I'm getting money from the Geographic to go on the cover because of my legs, thank you, legs. And they were good legs. I mean, let's face it.
So in the 1970s, to be a female scientist, what's the feeling?
Well, you see, I was unlike most females trying to be scientists. One, I didn't want to be a scientist. I just wanted to learn about chimps, and Leakey made me get my degree because he wanted me to be taken seriously. So, and then, unlike other scientists, most of the time I was just away out in the bush doing my thing. I wasn't wanting a job in a university, so it was different.
You have kind of strategy to do something non-confrontational.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this strategy, when does it come from?
Where does it come from?
Yeah.
Probably experience. Probably because my mother was like that, non-confrontational. She was very wise, because it was pretty obvious when, me, a young girl, in a male-dominated world, it was pointless arguing with a big, powerful male. And I probably discovered that early. So you have to use other things. Yes, you can use some female qualities, a little bit flirtatious, perhaps. something to get their attention. And then a story. You know how wise my mother was? You can imagine, during the war, we got to hate Germans. The sound of a German voice, it made you scared. Because, they were on our doorstep. So after the war, I was left school, and my uncle had a job in Germany. And he found a family that wanted somebody to come and teach the children English. Would I go? Mum said yes. Her friends were horrified. You're letting your daughter go off to that evil country? How can you let her go into a German family? You know her answer? I want Jane to understand that Hitler and the Nazis are not representative of the German people. And that's true all around the world today. People are hating the Israelis. There's all sorts of, anti-Semitic hatred going on. But the average Israeli, I know them. They are just as mad at Netanyahu as I am. So the average Israeli is not the same as Netanyahu. And it's the same in other places too.
Yeah, maybe it's one of the major motivation to fight with kind of self-superiority.
Yeah. Monster race. Blue eyes. We almost have blue eyes.
So when most people, when we are facing the animal world, we are kind of similar figure.
Yeah.
Similar mentality.
Yeah. I'm very happy to be here with you and to say a few words. So let me start off by saying my love of animals and nature.
Thank you. Have a great trip in China. We love you. We love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Chen. My question is, I want to know your understanding of the ancient Greece. Protagoras' statement, man is the measures of all things.
I don't think we like to think we're the measure of everything. We like to think we're the pinnacle of evolution because we're part of the natural world. So we've got to have a new mindset, a new way of moving forward with thinking about how we are impacting the natural world. Then sometimes I'm really, really, really tired. And so I can't give this speech. How can I give a speech? I'm much too tired. So I kind of say, you put me here, you made me do this, help. And then I make a really good speech. We all have a mission. We don't all discover it. And I discovered my mission was to raise awareness about the planet, and then after that to give people hope. So, okay, so if I'm put here with this mission by some spiritual power, oh. Well, I don't know, there's a strange connection very often. I don't know, you've seen a bit of video of the chimp wounder? When she embraces me. Yeah. I'd never met her till that day. She should have been embracing one of her caregivers. But no, it was me. It was very strange. Very strange. We think about all those young people who now cling.
好吧，哇，还是每次看完还是感触。
有请这个办公室来。
嗨，
先上台问的好吗？ 欢迎。
Stand on a chair.
Oh, it's too dangerous.
No, it's not. I've done it often. This one.
你们知道他说啥吗？他想站在椅子上，让你们后边的人都能看到。这么一个90岁的老人，
这个当然是不可能的，不要互相起火。我们建议我们的摄影老师集合，能稍微
对你们人声降下去一点好不好？
特别是我们第一排第一桌主桌座位的几位，大家也
有同学他。
I will hold Toby's hand.
哦 ，OK，
他非要试他站在椅子上，
来一把椅子来。
天哪，可以吗，徐老师
？Yes, you can.
徐老师
，You can. Yeah, it's good. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, sure. Oh, please.
哇哦，比你高的教室。天哪！
我给他一个麦克。
来
，One mic. Okay. Yes.
Need a mic. So where's Lucky?
Lucky is here.
Oh, there you are. You need a mic too. You need a mic too.
It's okay. There is a mic. There is a mic. No problem. There is. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm very, very happy to be here with all of you, having been away from Beijing for 6 years. So, hello to all of you. When I first came to China, the rivers were filthy, polluted and stinking, but that's changed. I suspect every one of us in this room, definitely including me, we all have unsustainable lifestyles. So thinking about all of this, meeting these young people who were losing hope, they said to me, we feel like this because you have compromised our future and there's nothing we can do about it. So would you agree we have compromised the future of our children? In fact, we've been stealing it probably since the Industrial Revolution. Would you agree with them when they said there was nothing they could do about it? No. I was brought up during World War II in very, very tough times in England. Quite a long time when Britain stood alone against the might of Nazi Germany. I learned about life and death. Some of my family members were killed, and I was only a little girl. There's absolutely no question, if we hadn't had Winston Churchill to rouse the fighting spirit of the British people, we would have succumbed and become part of Nazi Germany. It helped me to understand that the voice of one person crying out in a time of despair can change the way that people think. And it really helped me to feel the importance of each one of us speaking out as we feel in these dark times today. I want to say, every single one in this room has that same indomitable spirit. So let us all use that indomitable spirit to change the world for better, for our children, their children, and the future.
I'm here, Jen. Go there. Yeah. I love the red, the color.
This comes from Nepal.
Nepal, oh.
Given to me in Argentina.
Argentina, yeah.
By an actor.
Really?
His son gave it to him from Nepal.
Oh, Nepal. Yeah. Multitask person. I love last night, stand on chair. Cool.
You helped me last night. Yeah. They all said I couldn't. You said, yes, she can.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You had faith in me.
Yeah. Because, you know, I watch you, I see you schedule during the past 2 days. It's so strong individual power for you. But you need to keep the organization going on. But your personal role is too huge for the organization. Do you worry about it? Maybe one day you left, the organization may be facing the leadership vacuum, the icon
I don't
vacuum.
think so. There's so many good leaders coming up through the Roots and Shoots program. You know, some people who lead that program are with us after many, many years. They stay and their values are strong. Those who've been through the program maintain those values of respect, compassion, determination. And, you know, as we began in 91, we've got many adults in decision-making positions now.
What's the major regret during the past 90 years? Let's look back.
I don't know. Work-wise, I don't think I've got any regrets. Of course, I regret leaving the forest, but the reason why I left the forest wouldn't have gone away. So then I wouldn't be happy in the forest because I know I should be doing what I'm doing now.
So, because from your memoir, I think maybe your childhood experience about the Nazism, about the German experience, maybe the major driven force for you to do so much things because you want the equal. Is that the major driving force? It's very unequal.
Very unequal, but then you see, straight after the war, my mother gave me that lesson. Go to Germany and find out Nazis and Hitler are not normal Germans. That's the fanatical streak that comes out in us and so many people. And creates violence and war and hatred.
It's sort of also part of our human gene.
I think it's part of our human genes, and unfortunately, it doesn't take much to... That spirit of I hate seems to be quite easily aroused. And people seem to enjoy being angry and throwing stones. But I don't know if that's true. It just looks that way.
So empathy is part of our natural, but also we need to practice more and more.
Oh, we certainly... I mean, science has tried to crush it. That's led to so much cruelty. And one of the things, before I visited Auschwitz, one of the death camps, I was taken by a German friend who also wanted to visit Auschwitz because he couldn't understand how people, because he lived during the war too, he couldn't understand how people either didn't know or pretended not to know what was going on with these trains of people going to the death camps where he lived. And the thing he showed me that stayed with me forever, it was, I think it was Himmler who was in charge. And there's a letter that he wrote to the young men who were going in as Gestapo into the prisons as warders. And he said, "It is to be expected that some of you will show empathy for the prisoners. This must be stamped out immediately."
Yeah.
And they were trained that way. I mean, these young men, the young Nazis, they had a 2-year training. And at the beginning, they were given a dog, a police dog, and told, take this dog everywhere. You've got to strongly bond with the dog. And so they came in for their final exam with the dog, who had become, their best friend in these 2 years. And they were told, shoot your dog. And if they couldn't shoot the dog, they were out.
Wow.
So that shows you the kind of people who made it into the Gestapo.
So cruel.
Yeah. Horrible. Horrible.
So
that's what I call evil. The difference between doing bad things because you're all roused up and angry and you just do it, or cold-bloodedly thinking, oh, we'll train people like this. That's evil. Chimps aren't capable of evil. We are.
So for you, what's the connection between human rights and animal rights?
Oh, it's much the same. Human rights, animal rights, they may be given rights, but they're violated all the time.
But someone will say you are too idealistic.
Well, you're very idealistic if you think, as some people do, that if I give animal rights, they'll be safe. That's very idealistic because there's ways around everything. It's not the law. I mean, yes, the law helps, but it's our feeling that matters.
So do you agree that someone said maybe some evil is inevitable?
No, I don't agree. Why should it be? No. Do you think that?
I'm not so sure about it, but
I mean, I think human beings are definitely capable of evil.
Yeah.
But that's only if we get the situation better where there isn't a need for evil thoughts. I don't know if it's inevitable. I think it's most likely because humans are flawed. Unless we get rid of this desire for money and power, then there will always be fighting. And when there's fighting, there will be evil, yes.
So what's the solution if more and more people become much more angry? The hatred is spreading around the world.
My solution is to get everybody involved in roots and shoots. No, but I'm serious because those people understand that we need peace. I mean, it's so stupid to be fighting over money and territory, and as long as you have enough, why must we always want more? More money, more territory, more land, more power.
From your early research, because you found that the chimpanzee can use tool, it make a huge impact on the definition of a human being. But now, through so much years, and see the different world, now how do you think about the human being now? What make us different, special?
I think what makes us different is the explosive development of this intellect, which I personally think was at least in part triggered by our sudden, discovery that we could speak with words. So for the first time, we could tell children about things that weren't there. Chimps can't do that. They can demonstrate, they can model, but they can't tell chimpanzees about what happened last year. And so that, along with being able to plan for the future, remember the past, and most important, bring people from different skill sets to discuss a problem and try and find a solution. So I personally think that triggered our development of our intellect.
But sometimes, because you talk about a lot of hope, about commitment, but sometimes we choose the wrong direction. Maybe we don't know, but it's the wrong direction. We still so driving us to do it, but it's wrong. What should I do?
Well, I can't imagine doing that. So I can't tell you what I do because I cannot imagine charging off in the wrong direction. But I think a lot of people do. Young people do it because they see no other way of making a living. They hate what they do. Some are forced to join the army and they are told to kill and they hate it. And, a lot of young people get misled. And I always tell students, if you think you want to, for example, go out and study something in the field, and halfway through your degree, you find you've made a mistake, don't be afraid to change. Don't get pushed into a life of doing something that you don't really care about. And that happens to a lot of students. On the other hand, there are students, particularly in Asia, especially Japan, and they've read my books. It's my fault. They've read my books. So they want to go in the field, and they're very passionate about it. But their parents and their teachers want them to go into business to make money. And they come to me in Japan crying and saying, I really want to do it, but my parents don't want me to, and my teacher is pushing me. So what shall I do? So I say, well, don't go against your parents now. So do what they want you to do. Do it as well as you can. Try to succeed. In all your free time, you can still help animals and the environment. And then when you get to a certain age, you can drop what you're doing and do what you really want to do. It won't be too late.
So what's the difference and the relationship between hope and illusion.
Hope and illusion. I would say.
You want water? Some.
Everything here is cold. No.
All the maybe
liquid.
hot water.
The coffee was freezing.
Hot water for you. Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Maybe you want some whiskey, if you want.
Maybe I do.
Maybe it's too hot.
All right, make it cooler.
It's okay.
Okay. Has she got the whiskey?
Yeah, we got it here.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah. We made the whiskey.
Well, now I've nowhere to put it.
我们再拿一个杯子吧。Can taste this one. You know, the biggest lesson I learned from you is that anytime is whiskey time.
I try not, They all know I drink whiskey. They all know I have a naughty sense of humor. So, it's the icon before they meet me, but then in my books I talk about whiskey and I don't hide anything.
Yeah. I love your playful side. Yeah, very playful, actually. You.
Even more. You see, it's helping my voice. I don't know what we were talking about when my voice gave out. You asked me a question, but I can't remember what it was. And then my voice. And we started talking about cold drinks. But I cannot remember what you asked me before that. Something I did not yet answer. But I can't remember it.
Too much information for you, I guess.
No, you should be able to remember your question. But you've forgotten it. And nor can I.
Yeah, give me 1 minute. I can reconnect. Maybe, yes, kind of. Is silence good? Because Jen, I read lots of your materials, your speech and your interviews. Because you have to repeat some stories again and again. And I truly want to know some different dimension of you, but sometimes I'm not sure. I don't know. How should I do to open maybe new conversation space, new dimension of the talk? So it also puzzle me.
Well, you opened quite a lot yesterday. We talked about spirituality. We talked about life after death. We talked about all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I don't know what other things you could talk about. I'm only one human being with one life.
We print some pictures. You can maybe just have a look.
Have a look. That was very meaningful for me. Figan?
Figan.
I mean, look. A bit blurry, I'm not sure, but I think that's Figan again. I think it must be. Here's Figan, interested in my hair.
So curious.
Yes. Oh, he was the most intelligent chimp we've ever had. And that was when Mum came, right at the early stages.
Yeah.
The first, she came for 4 months. Happy little family. My father home from the war in his uniform.
Handsome, very handsome.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, that's the famous one. People say it reminds them of the Sistine Chapel. The roof where God reaches to man or man reaches to God. Yeah. And this is man reached to chimps.
Yeah.
That's very symbolic to me. This old Flo and Fifi and playing with little Flint, who liked to climb up to the top of the tent and slide down again and again and again. And there's my dear David Greybeard. And here's my even dearer Rusty.
Rusty. Oh.
Yes. The one who helped me stand up to the stupid professors at Cambridge. I mean, doesn't he look intelligent?
Very. Do you mind to be a part of fairy tale?
Well, no, I love to be part of a fairy tale.
你好，小沃，请播一下帕瓦罗蒂。
那就来一起听歌吧。
有时候会想起来，Jane现在又在哪里呢？然后他又在对这个什么样的一群观众在做他的演讲，然后在舞台前小跑。他已经90岁了嘛，然后一年有300天在世界不同的地方。有时候你很费解嘛，这个动力从哪里来嘛？然后你确实意识到，有些人身上有一种特别强烈的使命感，让你超越很眼前的个人得失嘛，然后你为一个更大的一个群体，或者说一种更高的一种目标吧，在努力。
而且他特别了不起一点就是身体力行。
对，其实他去每个地方旅行做演讲，他都会提出说我要坐新能源的车。我想这一点其实跟沃尔沃想追求的理念是很相似的嘛，就不要低估那种微小的努力，就是好像你做了一点点，但其实很多微小的力量会构成一个新的变化的。你看沃尔沃其实是全球第一个提出环保理念的一个汽车制造商，而且他把这些理念是贯彻到非常具体的一个细节里面。你看 EM90它是一个非常纯电动的一个车，而且里面这些材料都是非常低碳的环保的绿色的概念，生活到每个细节里面吧。我觉得是最终决定我们很多行为的可持续性和这个某种上的成功性吧，都来自于对这些细节的坚持，就这些细节会抵达到更远的地方吧。但是其实使命它不是空泛的一个概念，它是跟很多具体的行为、具体的环节，包括理念的一个具体化有巨大的关系的。因为如果没有这些具体的东西，那个宏大理念很快就会失去它的力量的。所以其实我在Jane身上看到那种召唤和具体的细节之间那种非常密切的一个关系，这个整体本身就会散发出巨大的能量。 Do you worry about maybe the future of AI? I mean,
I don't know. The future, I don't know. And we can't undo AI. The man who invented AI, I've forgotten his name, he came out the other day and he said, I wish I had never invented it.
Geoffrey Hinton, I guess.
Yeah. But it's invented, it's out there. And if he hadn't, somebody else would have. So what have we done to our future?
So maybe our human being will disappear one day, like dinosaur.
Yeah, we could. But this is why in Roots and Shoots, we're getting kids out into nature. We're getting them away from all this, you know. A lot of them understand. They shy away from it too. They use it when it's useful for them, but they don't believe in it as the ultimate.
Do you believe that if you can upload your memory, your brain to the maybe iCloud, you can survive for long?
No.
Forever?
No.
No.
If I did believe it, I wouldn't want to.
沃尔，我有陪咱们走了一季，就特想问您，就是做 EM90这一季下来的感受。
就 EM90车给我感受，其实它给我带来一个非常安静的一种体验。我觉得它有时候给我一种很内心的，给我带来很多内心的安静的时刻。我也很喜欢他们的音箱，当我需要情绪的时候，他们的音乐也给我特别好的一种体验。
我们也跟沃尔沃整个相伴已经有3年了，
在每个地方都会感觉到沃尔沃它本身的一个价值观嘛。我觉得其实那个价值观其实对消费者很重要的，包括他对安全的那种强调，然后包括他对环境的意识。沃尔沃是整个汽车行业第一个发表环保宣言的厂商，我很喜欢他们那个理念，就是他会说我们是气候问题的一部分，我们也是解决方案的一部分。所以它同时是一个非常实用性的感受和一种价值上的一种确认嘛。对，其实解决问题是需要非常多具体的行动的，因为这是一个活生生的在生长的希望啊。这个希望不是一个抽象的概念，它是具体的在跟你说话，在跟你交谈，在跟你这个喝 whisky， 它就像那个火种一样嘛。它在你身边，你可以感觉到火的温暖，那个希望是那个火苗嘛。包括我们要始终抱有某种希望，就是我们的问题是可以面对，可以通过很多具体的方式来应对和解决的。